that they know they are sitting on a treasure trove of information and they're not turning it over. And I've worked on these cases for over 10 years now. There's a plethora of information that the public has not been able to see relating to Epstein.
I have more than dozens. I probably have 100 hours of Epstein talking about the inner workings of the Trump White House and about his long-standing, deep relationship with Donald Trump.
MAGA diehards have been waiting for Trump to fulfill his campaign promise of releasing those Epstein files. I mean, he went as far as handing out shiny folders called Phase 1. But according to the new DOJ memo, there's nothing left, folks. This, of course, is riling up and splintering MAGA. Now we have new reporting from Michael Wolff. He says that while he was recording his conversations with Epstein in order to record a biography of Epstein, he has over 100 hours of Epstein talking about Trump, including saying that he considered Trump his best friend for 10 years. Michael Wolff also says that Trump considered pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. As we know, Ghislaine Maxwell helped Epstein basically find women that were then sex trafficked. She's now in prison. She was convicted of sex trafficking of a minor and sentenced to 20 years. So where's Trump in all this? His footprints are everywhere. Now MAGA is upset that these files are evidently nowhere to be found.
We were underage. We were little girls.
I was 16.
I was 16.
I started going to him when I was like 14 turning 15. By the time I was 16, I brought him up to 75 girls, all the ages of, 14, 15, 16, people going from 8th grade to 9th grade at just school parties is where I would recruit him from.
All Jeffrey cared about was go find me more girls. His appetite was insatiable. He couldn't stop. He wanted new, fresh, young faces every single day.
According to the new reporting Michael Wolff says he has of Epstein, Epstein talks quite a bit about Donald Trump. This is not surprising considering, as we know from what we've seen of the released Epstein's files so far, Trump has flown on Epstein's plane several times. One of Epstein's main victims, Virginia Giuffre, the woman who committed suicide a few months ago, was trafficked by Ghislaine Maxwell at none other than Mar-a-Lago. We also have heard Donald Trump himself acknowledge the fact that Epstein liked young women. Take a listen.
Well, look, they've been promoting some wild conspiracy theories about what's on there. We don't know what's true and what's not true. And if there's nothing to implicate Donald Trump, then release the files. What's the problem with releasing them? That's what they've been demanding.
Here's what Donald Trump said about his old friend Jeffrey Epstein in 2002. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. On the younger side. Donald Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein and what Donald Trump called the younger side. Terrific guy. That's what Jeffrey Epstein was to Donald Trump. Terrific guy. And to this day, Donald Trump has not said a negative word about Jeffrey Epstein.
According to Michael Wolff, when Ghislaine Maxwell was on trial, Trump grew, quote, very wary and began asking, quote, what could she say? What would she say? End quote. I mean, typically somebody going about their normal life is not overly concerned about what somebody on trial for sex trafficking is going to say about them. But he was so concerned, he even considered giving him a pardon, but people in his inner circle thought that would basically backfire on him, and so decided to do nothing, but were very concerned about what she was going to say at trial. This is not that surprising. I mean, here's a man who we heard talk about how he was willing to grope women without their consent, who has since been found liable for sexual assault. A man who acknowledged that Epstein liked his women young. This same man photographed often with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, was also worried about what she was going to say at trial. But MAGA world stood behind Trump. They believed in Trump. They thought, finally, now that he's in power, we're finally going to get at the bottom of who those evidently powerful figures were in Epstein's circle. Well, Trump let them down. And I have to say, Alex Jones' reaction, the tears it brought him, was extremely satisfying. I mean, this is the Alex Jones who tried to say that Sandy Hook was a conspiracy. Perhaps the most disgusting thing anybody could say about children who were shot to death at an elementary school. The DOJ leaked memo saying there was no Epstein client list brought him to tears. Take a listen.
So I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. It's because I have integrity. And, I just really need the Trump administration to succeed and to save this country. And they're doing so much good. And then for them to do something like this tears my guts out.
Some in MAGA world are deciding to blame Attorney General Pam Bondi and Kash Patel for the fact that there is apparently no more information that the DOJ is going to release about Epstein. This is despite the fact that Pam Bondi said not that long ago that she had a client list on her desk. I mean, does anyone really believe that they would do anything the dear leader did not direct them to? Well, during Trump's first term, he also appointed as his Secretary of Labor, Alexander Acosta. Well, Alexander Acosta was the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida at the time Epstein entered into his non-prosecution agreement in 2008. That agreement basically allowed him to completely avoid any real consequence for sex trafficking minors. Years later, that attorney in charge of this Southern District of Florida, where the non-prosecution agreement was entered into, was given this appointment in Trump's cabinet. Well, after all of this talk about Epstein, about all of the appearance Trump has with Epstein, about Trump promising on the campaign trail to finally deliver the goods, and then this DOJ memo is released, Trump is asked a question by a reporter about this, and he gets a little defensive. Take a listen.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of Saturday?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Well, after Alex Jones had a good cry, realizing that Trump had betrayed him with the promise of the release of the Epstein files, he and other QAnon conspiracy theorists have decided that Trump is playing 5D chess. Liz Crokin, who also put forward the Pizzagate conspiracy, said that the deep state may have planted fake evidence. So she's now praising it as a brilliant 5D chess boomerang for Trump not releasing it. This, folks, is what we call a cult. When you're faced with mounting evidence and mounting promises, and your leader fails to deliver them, and you go to any lengths to try to justify it, I think you might just be in a cult.
I think this threatens to blow up the whole thing. But let's just back up a little bit and just pick at some of the inconsistencies here. So you're saying that Pam Bondi said on camera, we have a client list.
On the White House lawn.
I've seen the client list.
Yes.
And then yesterday she's saying there's no client list.
There's no client list. And there was no systematic blackmail. That actually might be the most preposterous line in the document.
But it doesn't make any sense. I think this, for a bunch of reasons, it's so obvious. It is salacious. People have followed it for years. The president promised to reveal the truth about this. Pam Bondi, as you said, went on television, said we have the truth and we're going to give it to you.
Yes.
I think this is a big deal. It's a really big deal. It's bigger. So. I hope so too, actually. So let's just assess this logically. They're covering up the DOJ, the current DOJ under Pam Bondi is covering up crimes. Very serious crimes by their own description. Why are they doing that?
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.MeidasTouch.com. All 100% USA union made.